In the harsh winter of 2019, a homeless man named Lionel Booker helped a stranger on the street. Just one act of kindness. What he didn't know was that this stranger was about to entangle him in one of the most bizarre property scams in U.S. history. A house in his name, a bank loan he never signed for, and a trail of victims that spanned state lines. But why Lionel? And how deep did the fraud go? This is not a feel-good story. It's a warning. This is the true crime story of how one man's kindness became a key to someone else's criminal empire, and how he nearly lost his freedom because of it. Before we go deeper, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We uncover the stories others won't tell, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's continue. Lionel Booker was 52, a veteran of the foster care system, a former handyman. For the last 5 years, he'd been living on and off the streets of Philadelphia. He had a beat-up backpack, a bike with a crooked wheel, and a habit of helping people, even when no one helped him. It was January. Snow was piling up along 17th and Snyder. Lionel had just come from the local shelter when he spotted a man kneeling beside a car, hood up, steam rising. The man wore an expensive coat. He looked frustrated, cold. He cursed under his breath. "Battery's dead," he said. Lionel offered to help. He had a jumper cable he kept in a plastic grocery bag. They got the car started in under 10 minutes. "Thanks, man," the stranger said. "I owe you lunch or something." That man introduced himself as Tony. He said he was in real estate, ran a few businesses. He handed Lionel a $20 bill and said something Lionel would remember forever. "You ever need help? Look me up." Lionel shrugged it off. People said that sort of thing all the time. But a week later, Lionel saw Tony again, this time outside a Dunkin' Donuts. Tony bought him a coffee. Then another week passed. Then Tony offered him a job. "I flip properties," Tony said. "I could use help clearing out a basement or two." Lionel started working part-time, cleaning out debris, scrubbing walls, taking scrap to the dump, cash paid, nothing shady, at least not yet. 3 months into their casual work arrangement, Tony told Lionel something unexpected. "I got a house I can't use right now. It's empty. Why don't you stay there?" Lionel was stunned. A roof, his own key. He moved into the small 2-bedroom on Tulip Street the next day. No paperwork, no rent. "Consider it a favor," Tony said. "You're keeping an eye on the place." But that favor would become the worst mistake of Lionel's life. 6 months later, Lionel was woken by a loud knock at the door. It was the bank. Then the police. The officer looked confused. "Are you Lionel Booker?" he asked. "We have a mortgage default notice under your name. You owe $87,000. Lionel's heart dropped. "I never signed for a loan," he said. "This ain't even my house." But when the documents came out, his name was on the deed, his forged signature was on the loan agreement. And the notary? A woman named Vanessa Carter, Tony's business partner. Tony was gone. The number disconnected. The offices closed. Detective Tara Jennings with the Philadelphia Fraud Division took the case. It wasn't the first time she'd seen a fake deed, but this was different. Lionel had been used as a front. His clean record made him the perfect fall guy. Jennings found that Tony, whose real name was Marcus Anthony LeBlanc, had been part of a real estate fraud ring operating up and down the East Coast. They targeted abandoned homes, faked ownership records, forged titles, and applied for home renovation loans using identities of homeless or low-income individuals. In return, those individuals were promised food, cash, or shelter. Most of them had no idea their names were being used to drain money from financial institutions. In Lionel's case, the Tulip Street house had been purchased at a tax sale for just $4,000. But a fraudulent appraisal listed the property's value at $120,000. Marcus LeBlanc and his partner, Vanessa Carter, applied for a fix-and-flip mortgage loan. They forged documents showing renovations that never happened. The money? It vanished through a shell company in Florida. The house? Abandoned again, except for Lionel, who was unknowingly squatting in what the city now believed was his own defaulted property. The police seized the house. Lionel was evicted. But worse, he was under investigation himself for real estate fraud. In 2021, the district attorney filed charges against Lionel for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, identity theft, and falsifying loan documents. Even with no proof that Lionel authored the fraud, his name was on the paperwork, and the state wanted someone to blame. Detective Jennings pushed back. She testified that Lionel was likely a pawn, but the bank's legal team pushed hard. He benefited from the crime, they argued. He lived rent-free for half a year. The court agreed to move forward with trial. But then, one lucky break changed everything. In a random audit, a junior bank analyst discovered metadata in the PDF documents tied to the mortgage application. The user listed m.leblanc.reigroup@gmail.com, Marcus's email. This evidence, combined with time-stamped security footage from the notary office, proved Lionel never entered the building on the day his signature was filed. All charges were dropped. But Lionel had already spent 42 days in jail waiting for his name to be cleared. He emerged from the courthouse holding a garbage bag with his few belongings. No apology, no compensation. In late 2022, Marcus LeBlanc was finally arrested in Atlanta, Georgia, after attempting to sell a fake deed to a luxury condo using another homeless man's ID. Authorities estimate that his scam netted nearly $2.1 million over 3 years. Over 40 homes were involved. 12 individuals were unknowingly turned into financial criminals. Vanessa Carter is still at large, believed to have fled to Panama. Marcus is currently serving a 14-year federal sentence. Today, Lionel lives in a subsidized apartment on the outskirts of Philly. He never returned to Tulip Street. His credit is still damaged. He can't qualify for traditional loans. Job applications are harder with a fraud charge, even if it was dropped. But he volunteers twice a week at a shelter downtown. His advice to others is simple. Be kind, but don't trust too easy. Because in Lionel's words, you never know when someone's asking for help or setting you up. This is the story of Lionel Booker, one of many Americans pulled into crimes they didn't commit, simply because they trusted the wrong person. It's a story about economic vulnerability, legal loopholes, and how a simple act of kindness can be manipulated into criminal conspiracy. If you found this story shocking, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below. What would you have done in Lionel's shoes? Because when truth is stranger than fiction, that's when true crime matters most. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe, and stay curious.